Well, hello and welcome to another video by Financial Learning. On today's video, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin mining monthly metrics. We usually look at 14 companies. We had one company still mid-month not produce any monthly mining update for the month of January. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, and jumping into this slide, starting with number one, it was Mara with 750 Bitcoin mined. They have a total HODL sitting at now 45,659, and the total hash rate last reported is sitting at 53 exahash per second. Number two, CleanSpark. They had a total Bitcoin mine of 626 with a total HODL at 10,556. And their total hash last reported was 40.1 exahash per second. Now, some of these miners do also provide updates on their efficiencies as well as the total number of miners in their fleet. So you can see these numbers as well. I do have these here. And again, I'm going to go ahead and put the press releases for each of these companies in the description, but just want to continue on further. So number three, and this was a surprise. This is a newer Bitcoin miner to this bunch. This is CANG, that is Kango. And they had a total of 538 Bitcoin mined for the month of January. And their total HODL is now sitting at 1,472 with a total hash rate at 32 exahash per second. And when I say total hash rate, I'm talking about their self-mining hash rate as well as any hosting hash rate they may have. So some of these numbers may look small compared to the total amount of hash rate that some of these companies have, but recall that some of them make additional revenue by hosting different companies, and that exahash goes into those other companies' numbers in terms of Bitcoin mine. Number four is Riot. They had a total Bitcoin mine for the month of January at 527, and their total HODL is sitting at 18,221 Bitcoin. They had a total hash rate at 34 exahash per second with a total efficiency at 21. And that is in joules per terahash. I didn't mention CleanSpark. They're sitting up there at 16.15 joules per terahash. And also they actually provided a miner update. They have 217,272 miners in their fleet. Jumping down to number five on our list, this is IREN. They had a total Bitcoin mine at 521, and they had a total hash rate at 31 exahash per second. Now, IREN does not have any updates in terms of a Bitcoin HODL. They sell their Bitcoin every single month in order to generate additional revenue for some operations. And the total efficiency for IREN is sitting at 15 joules per terahash. Jumping down to number six, this is FUFU. They had 283 Bitcoin mined for a total self-mining Bitcoin at 83 and a hosted Bitcoin at 200. Their Bitcoin HODL is now sitting at 1,742. And their total hash rate last reported is at 20.1 exahash per second. They also shared their total mining fleet. Now this is total, so that would be self-mining fleet as well as hosted mining fleet. It is 135,354. Number seven on the list is CORZ Scientific, CORZ. They had a total Bitcoin mine for the month of January at 273. They had a self Bitcoin mine at 256 with hosting at 17 Bitcoin. They also do not have a Bitcoin HODL reported, and their total hash rate is sitting at 19.5 exahash per second. They have efficiency at 24.5 joules per terahash. And their mining fleet is sitting at 168,000. And CIFR. They had a total Bitcoin mine at 219, and their Bitcoin HODL sitting at 1,091. And total hash rate as 14 exahash per second, and efficiency at 18.9 joules per terahash. Their total miners, they had a total mining fleet at 75,000. And Bitfarms, they have a total Bitcoin mine for the month of January at 201, with their Bitcoin HODL now sitting at 1,152. And total hash rate sitting at 15.2 exahash per second, and an efficiency at 20 joules per terahash. And jumping down a little bit further, this is BitDR. Now recall, BitDR also has their own mining manufacturing facility there, and they will be putting out some newer miners in the months to come. So we'll have to pay attention to their total efficiency to see if we start to see that drop as they begin testing some of their own miners. But jumping back down into these metrics, BitDR has mined a total of 121 Bitcoin for the month of January, and they had a total HODL at 724 Bitcoin. Their hash rate currently is at 22.4 exahash per second, and they have a mining fleet of 179,000. Jumping down to HIVE, they're number 11 on our list. They mine a total of 102 Bitcoin in the month of January, and their HODL sitting at 2,657 Bitcoin. Their hash rate just sitting at 6 exahash per second and efficiency at 22 joules per terahash. And number 12 on our list, this is HUT. They had a total Bitcoin mine at 65 and their HODL sitting at 10,208. They had a total hash rate of 13 exahash per second. Now, you may be wondering, why did they have such a low amount of Bitcoin mined? You're going to have to read their press release. Some of these miners do turn off some of their lower efficiency miners when it doesn't make sense for them to be mining. And you have to recall, some of these miners are starting to take that parallel path or even starting to give up some of their infrastructure for mining in order to energize some of their HPC AI. So again, you're going to have to pay close attention to these miners in the months to come to see how this is going to impact their overall monthly mining numbers. And number 13 on our list, this is BTBT. They had a total Bitcoin mine for the month of January at 28.7 Bitcoin, and their HODL is sitting at 768.7. They had a total hash rate of just 1.6 exahash per second. And last on this list, we do not have an update. This is TeraWulf. As of mid-February, as of February 15th, there was still no update for TeraWulf. So I am quite surprised by that. They have been pretty responsive month over month in order to provide those monthly mining numbers. So I'm wondering two things. The positive speculation would be they have some news that they are currently finalizing that they want to add with their monthly mining numbers, or they did not do any mining numbers and instead have been focusing more on the HPC AI side of their business. And one other thing I did want to start sharing, when you're looking at this list, it is going to be the overall Bitcoin Treasury holdings for some publicly traded companies. Again, this is on bitcointreasuries.net, but you can see the number one, of course, as you all know, is going to be MicroStrategy, now just called Strategy. And then second is Mara, one of these Bitcoin miners, third being Riot, and then fourth, this was a jump up. Tesla has purchased some additional Bitcoin. So now they have actually moved CleanSpark down to number 5 on our list, followed by Hut 8, Coinbase, Block, and then a few other companies that I don't typically cover. But then jumping down the list past Galaxy Digital, you're going to see Hive Digital Technologies on the list. FUFU, CANG, CIFR are all on this list. And you can also see Canaan. This is one of those Bitcoin mining vendors. They do actually sell some Bitcoin miners to these various publicly traded companies, but they also do gather some Bitcoin themselves and keep that in their treasury. So again, you'll also see Bitfarms and BitDR as well as BitDigital on this list. So just wanted to share overall Bitcoin rankings in terms of their treasuries for these Bitcoin miners, as well as some of these other publicly traded companies that are purchasing spot Bitcoin and staying up on the ranks. All right, and that about wraps it up for me, folks. Hope you enjoyed this quick update on these Bitcoin mining metrics for the month of January. As you can see, we typically have 14 companies. Unfortunately, we only have 13 updates to share so far, as we are already midway through the month of February. But with all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving it a like, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. Which one of these Bitcoin miners are your favorite? What do you think about the pivot into the HPC AI sector? And then also, do you think that a lot of these companies with these higher Bitcoin holdings are going to be able to break that barrier and start generating some Bitcoin yield percent compared to just holding it for the current pricing? So with all that said, I hope you all have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you on the next one.